Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into the latest numbers from consulting giant Accenture. And let me tell you, this isn't just your average earnings report. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar bet on one single technology, a bet that's totally shaking things up for them.
Okay, so let's start right at the top with a quote from the chair and CEO, Julie Sweet. She puts it right out there, doesn't she? That 7% growth, it's not random. She says it's all about helping their clients reinvent and lead with AI. You got to remember that phrase, because that one focus, AI, is the key to their entire year.
And that success? Well, it adds up to this, almost $70 billion in revenue. Now, just think about that for a second. To grow by 7% when you're already that big, especially in this economy, it just goes to show you how insane the demand is for what Accenture is selling right now.
So what's really powering that number? What's the engine behind all this growth? Well, it all boils down to a huge strategic bet on AI that is paying off, big time.
Look, if you take away just one thing from this whole breakdown, let it be this. The story of Accenture in 2025 is AI, plain and simple. It's all about their massive, and I mean massive, bet on generative AI. And boy, did it pay off.
And you can see it right here. Just look at the insane growth in new contracts, what they call bookings, just for generative AI. We're talking nearly $6 billion in new work signed this year alone. That's more than double what they did the year before. I mean, that's not just growth, that's a rocket ship.
This is what gets me. This timeline just shows you how fast they moved on this. Think about it. Just 2 years ago, AI was barely even a blip on their radar. Now, it's a nearly $3 billion business. They've done over 6,000 projects, and they've got a pipeline of almost $6 billion more coming in. I mean, that kind of speed, at that scale, that is a masterclass in how a big company can move fast.
Now, of course, they're not doing this all by themselves. A huge piece of the puzzle here is their partnerships. They're teaming up with the absolute biggest names in the game. You've got NVIDIA for all that crazy computing power, and of course, OpenAI for the models themselves. It's this whole ecosystem that lets them bring the latest and greatest tech to their clients.
But, it's super important to remember that AI isn't the whole story. The company is built on some incredibly strong pillars. Take their security business. That's a $10 billion operation all on its own, and it's growing at 16%. Then you have cloud, which is even bigger, a nearly $40 billion engine. And Industry X, their whole digital manufacturing thing, that's growing at a solid 10% too. So these aren't just little side projects. This is the solid foundation that makes that big AI bet even possible.
Okay, so we know what they're selling, but where is all this money actually coming from? Let's take a quick look and break down the numbers by industry and around the globe.
As you can see, Accenture's business is spread out all over the place, from consumer products to health and public service. It's really diverse, but the one that really jumps out this year, financial services, up 10%. And that tells you something, right? It shows there's this huge rush from banks, from insurance companies. They're all racing to modernize and get AI into their systems.
And if we slice it up by geography, it's pretty clear who the leader is. The Americas are an absolute powerhouse. It's pulling in more than half of the company's total revenue, and it's growing at a really strong 9%. So yeah, it's still their biggest and fastest growing market, and it's not even close.
All right, so the company had a great year. They're growing like crazy, and their big AI pivot is working. But what about the investors? What does all of this mean for the people who actually own the stock?
Well, here's the bottom line. For investors, all that success turned into this number, over $8.3 billion in cash returned directly to them. I mean, in the shaky market like this one, getting that kind of direct cash return is exactly what you want to see.
And they did this in two main ways. First, they spent $4.6 billion buying back their own stock, which, helps push up the value of all the shares that are left. And then, on top of that, they paid out another $3.7 billion in straight-up cash dividends, just cash in the pocket for investors.
Okay, last thing. After a total blockbuster year in 2025, let's look ahead. What's the company saying about 2026? What does the road look like from here? Their forecast for next year shows a really interesting tension, I guess you'd call it. On one hand, they expect to be even more profitable, with their operating margins actually going up a little. But on the other hand, they're telling everyone to expect a slowdown in revenue growth. They're projecting 2 to 5%, which is definitely a step down from the 7% they just hit.
And that sets up the big question for the next year, doesn't it? Was this year's insane AI growth just the start of something huge? Or was it kind of like a one-time boom?
Can that AI engine keep firing on all cylinders, even if the rest of the market starts to cool off? That, right there, is the billion-dollar question everyone's going to be watching.